Okay, our final little tutorial here is going to be making some custom animations. So if you do want to animate something custom, I would select this little triangle bit here in your animation manager. I would actually save out a different max file. Don't work in your rigged one. Just in your rigged one, but just save as, so you still have that nice clean model that you're going to be working with. Just Kira. So in here, I'm going to create a new layer for animating. I'm going to click this little guy here, and I'm going to just do an ABS layer. So I could rename this to whatever I want. And then basically just animate like you would other objects. Oops, do not add keyframes onto your root objects, but rather just, set up an auto key. I'm going to just do a really simple little squat here. So do a keyframe, go to 20, and expand this a little bit. Go to 20 down here. Oh, it's because I'm not recording, of course. Okay. Go to 20 down here. Now this should work. You have to have that little record button on if you actually want to record animations. And then I'm going to just hold shift and duplicate this key because I want it just to be back to normal. So just like a little squat here. Whoop, whoop. Right, nothing exciting for this tutorial. So we're going to call this, oops, squat. Okay. Then we're going to export the whole thing. I'm going to export it into the animations folder. Just call it like squat or whatever you want. Animation is checked on, hit OK. Go back into Unity here. Give it a few seconds to do some importing. I'm going to delete little Kira here. We're going to go into our project, and we're going to go into animations, standard, and you see here we have all the other ones. So I'm going to look at the jump, for instance. So if I click here, you'll see I can see my Kira jumping. And I'm going to use one of these as a reference to see how this is set up. I'm going to go to Rig. I'm going to see that it's set up as a humanoid. Avatars create from this model with a standard of 4. So I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Avatars humanoid, create from this model 4, hit apply. I'm going to go to the animations tab over here, and I'm going to rename this. It didn't actually call it squat. I thought I brought that in. Boop, boop, little squats there. All right, so that should be our animation. If we expand this, there should be, oh, I did not hit apply on here. There should be a little animation called squat. Hey. I said, give me the squat. Why is it still called take one? It's rude. I called it squat. There's squat avatar. Hold on. Should we rename it for me? Yeah, squat. I just wasn't displaying in that other menu for some reason. Yeah, there we go. All right, so then we're going to take our character here, and you will notice that your Kira character has an animator. This is what drives all the animations. Within that, there's a controller called Leah Kirim Controller. They use the same one because they use the same rig, so they can share animations. I'm going to double click on this thing, and it's going to bring this up. This is called an animation controller. These are all the animations I have in here. These are variables. I've added a whole bunch in here from other animations that I used to have for Sphereman, I think, possibly. So not a lot of these are being used, but you see here there's an idle, the falling, the jump, the run, and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to add our squat in here. We're going to drag this squat into wherever you want. Doesn't matter. And we're going to hook it up from the any state. So that means whatever Kira or Liam are doing, if we activate the squat, they will squat. So we're going to add a trigger This is what you call through code, so we can call it squat. On our transition here, you're going to select this arrow. In the inspector, you will see here there's a thing called conditions. You're going to hit the little plus sign there and select squat. So basically, if squat trigger is called, it's going to play the squat animation. So you'll see here, if I hit play, they're going to do it at idle, and they're going to do a squat. Oh, they're doing some crazy things. We'll talk about that in a second. Whoop. That's really funny. Whoop. Okay, that's fine. We'll fix that in a sec. So then we're going to go, once the squat is done, what should happen? Right now, nothing will happen. They will stay in the end of their squat. So we can go to make transition, and then it'll create this little arrow, and we're going to just drag it back to idle. Right? And we're not going to set anything on this. It's just going to be an exit time. So basically, once this animation finishes playing, it's going to go back to idle unless something else interrupts it, like a jump or something like that. And you can change how long it takes to go back to another animation with these. These are like transitions to other ones. Anyways, and that's it. So we're going to keep this open. We're going to hit play. This should look really funny. We can go over here. I'm going to make sure my Kira is selected, because otherwise this thing won't fire properly. So right now, if you have her selected and you have this open, you see here she's running through the idle animation. And if I jump, it does the jump animation. It might go through falling if she goes really high. If you move left and right, she'll do her run and then back to idle. And I can trigger these things manually. So I can go in here and hit squat. She'll squat and then go back to normal. She goes through squat, and then squat travels back to idle. You can actually see the little transition turn blue as well. Whoop, whoop, cool. Now, obviously, our squat is not working the way it's supposed to, which is fine. So let's take a look at some of the issues that we could be having here. Sometimes there's basically like a root position of where things actually happen. So let's take a look at our jump. And let's see if this is any different. We have body orientation, origin, and center of mass. Body position, origin, center of mass is the same thing. None of these are checked on, I believe. So everything appears to be the same, but for some reason our squat isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. Well, it's fine in here. Interesting. Yeah, that is what I would assume it would do. Yeah. Fascinating. I wonder why it's not doing that on the model. Apply root motion? No. So I'm going to open up window animation here. This is going to bring up the animation sequencing. And I can go through different animations in here. So jump. Yeah. And then squat. Interesting. So it's doing something very different in here. Oh, it's because apply root motion's off. Typically don't want that on because that actually moves your character. So let's see what we can do in the squat animation to try and fix some of that. So we have loop time. We have our root transform rotation. I don't care about position on the Y. So let's do bake into pose. Let's see what happens there. All right then. Jump. I don't know why the push is crazy. Falling. Oh yeah, I guess it only does it on the arms. Throw. I don't think I have a throw. Oh, I do have a throw. Oh yeah. And back to squat. There we go. Now it's doing what we want. So basically we just said, hey, that movement that we have in there, I want you to actually bake it into the animation that we have as opposed to relying on the root motion, which I know is kind of confusing, but it makes kind of sense. So now if we're playing, if I open up my animator again and I hit the squat, she should squat nicely. Oh, hello there. It's a little curtsy. Hello, fine ma'am. Hello, there we go. And now we've added a new thing. So if, and then you'll see if I start squatting, all right, I guess kind of hard for me to switch over because you have to be clicked on the game window. So let me do a squat. And then back in here, I can jump out of the squat. And it won't transition very smoothly because our transition right now from squat to, or sorry, I guess from any state to jump, is pretty quick. Maybe we need to do some interruption sources and stuff. There's a lot of things you can do. Fixed duration, interruption source, next state. Let's try that. So we do a squat. It's doing some crazy stuff. There's lots of settings we can adjust to interrupt things differently. But basically, there you go. You have a new squat trigger. You can go into Kira's script here. There's I believe it's in the player move. In here, you can edit this script and then do a hookup for when you want her to squat or do other animations and stuff like that. So anyways, that's that. Hopefully that helps you with bringing in some new animations. And as always, if you have issues, please let me know. Bye.